Okay, welcome to this first webinar of November. My name is Luis and Luis Pastor, and today we're gonna do the webinar that is called coaching. This is the first webinar of the month. So before we can start, I just want you to write in the chat box, say your name and your position so I can know who is with us today. And while you're doing that, then also think about what do you expect from this webinar. Okay, so as I told you, the topic today is coaching. Once more, good evening, and my name is Luis, and we're going to talk about coaching. And as you can see in the first slide, coaching involves a number of things. So, coaching by itself is not is not strong if we need to have some other things around it. Things like guidance, success, knowledge, learn, development, skills, experience, share, support, mentor, teach. These are all the keywords that basically run around the concept of coaching. So the program for today, while you guys write in the chat box, I want to know who's with me today. Um, this is a program for today. So I don't know why. Guess okay. So I guess okay. Okay. So as I said before, my name is Luis, and we're going to do the webinar on coaching. So this is a program for today. I'm gonna start with some initial thoughts. We're gonna define what coaching is. We're also gonna talk a little bit about coaching at the workplace, and we're gonna talk about what is coaching and what is not coaching. We're also going to talk about the qualities of a good coach, and we're going to do at the end a little bit of some final thoughts or reflections. So, as I said before, write your name and your position so I can know who's with me today. So, some initial thoughts. Um, the concept of coaching is actually, it's not really new. Coaching has been happening a long time, but I guess it is very important. Today, this is becoming very important, this concept of coaching, because many companies have found themselves in the need of not only having leaders with teams, but also the leader has to take an additional role in terms of guiding, teaching, um, mentoring, and doing some different actions with their teams so that their teams can become much better. Because at the end, the idea of a leader is not just to be a leader by itself, but the role of a leader is to basically produce or basically have some more people that can buy in. And this is an interesting term, buy in, so that can buy in the mission of the company, the vision, etc. So in itself, this is not a new concept, but it's a concept that is becoming very, very important because the way things are and in this changing world, then coaching becomes a necessity. So let's start by defining what coaching is. So the first question here, what is exactly coaching? And to help you do that, I would like you to first think about a coach as a noun or to coach as a verb. Okay, so think about this. What is a coach? Or who is a coach? And what is the verb to coach. So basically, what does a coach do? Okay, let me write that. What does a coach do? Of course, you're not gonna say a coach coaches, right? It's obvious, but let's think about it. Okay, what is actually what does a coach do for the team? Because remember here we're talking about a team, but we're considering coaching as a one-to-one process. So coaching is something that is very personalized. Okay, that's the idea of coaching. Okay, something that is personalized. Okay, so any thoughts? What is coaching? Come on, you guys. Let's see. I have some people here. So I have Jerson and I have Jacqueline. Okay, okay, Jerson and Jacqueline. So um, so what is it then? Jerson, you wanna write something? Hmm? Jerson? No? Jerson? Jacqueline? No? Okay. So let's see then. Let me help you out with this. So let me help you out with this then. Base. Okay, this is the first definition we have here. So if you can read there, it says that this is a process that enables learning and development to occur and thus performance to improve. So here in the first sentence you have it's a process to promote learning and development. Okay, and for the learning of and development to occur, okay, if you have learning and development, then your performance will be improved. Okay, so that's the idea. So the first part is that coaching is a process that will help you improve. Let me write it here. It's a process that will help you improve performance. Okay, so coaching is a process that helps to improve performance. Okay, that's the idea. So, um, okay, so that's the first idea. Now, let's look at the second sentence and let's see about the coach, okay? Specifically on the person, okay? I guess I'm having some technical problems, so let me do something. Now that, okay. So, okay, so let me see. Okay, so we have, I guess we had some technical problems, so let me um, let me start again. Let me start again then and say that um, coaching is a process that basically uh, helps in improving performance. Okay, so that's what coaching is. All right. The other part of this is talking about the person. So talking about the coach. Okay, talking about the coach. So let's say characteristics If you can read in the next sentence characteristics of the coach. Okay, so what are the characteristics of a coach? Okay, if you can read here, it says a successful coach needs knowledge and understanding of a process, as well as a variety of styles, skills, techniques that are appropriate to the context in which the coaching takes place. So then, the coach, okay, so characteristics of a coach. Okay, what are the characteristics of the coach? And now I have uh, Jacqueline and Gerson. So Jacqueline, Gerson, what are we? What are the characteristics of a coach, Jacqueline and Gerson? Okay, what are the characteristics? So as you can read here, it says a coach is a person that needs to have some knowledge and needs to have an understanding of process. So basically, the coach is a person that knows about, has some knowledge, and has some understanding of a process. So technically, the coach is like an expert in a particular process and he understands what is going on in the business. Okay, so that's the important characteristic. So, for example, in my case, uh, I could, I am a coach, and in this case, I have knowledge, I have understanding of education, and I have the understanding and knowledge about how a student learns a language. So I can call myself a coach because I have some knowledge and some understanding. Of course, the other part of this, coach needs to have a variety of styles, skills, and techniques. Yes, for example, as a teacher, okay, a teacher could be considered also a coach because the teacher needs to have a lot of different styles, a lot of different techniques for different people. So not all the students are the same. So some, for example, to teach kids, the teacher needs to have a certain characteristics, certain styles, certain varieties, certain techniques. To teach adults is a completely different world. So in this case, the coach is a person that has some knowledge, has understanding, has different styles, techniques. Okay, and these techniques, and let me teach you something interesting here. This word, the techniques are catered for specific people. Okay, catered for specific people. Okay, this is basically a definition from Eric Parslow. He's the manager from the book The Manager as Coach and Mentor, 1999, and he's an author with a high reputation, and he's a knowledgeable person, and he's also the director of OCM, okay, an organization on coaching management. Okay, so any comments? Nope, no comments. Okay, so I guess let's see who's with us today. So we have Jacqueline and Jerson, right? So let's see how you spell that. Okay, Jerson. Jerson. Let's see. Jacqueline, is that how you spell it? Yes. Okay, so let's continue. Um, next part. This is another definition. Okay, this is from John Whitmore. He's a person in expert in coaching for performance. So in this case, we have coaching is unlocking a person's potential to maximize their own performance. It is helping them to learn rather than. There's a spelling mistake here. Rather than. So it's like to learn rather than teaching them. Okay? So it's basically to learn. So basically, what the coach is doing, the coach is helping the coachee, the other person, the person that is being coached is called the coachee. So the coach is helping the coachee basically to learn something. Okay, he's not teaching. I am not. The coach is not teaching the person to do something. The 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 person is learning. So he's learning to do something. Okay, he's learning how to do something. So it's a whole different approach. Okay, in this case, you help them to learn about something, but you're not teaching them new things. Okay, so it's a total different way of considering, okay, person here. Okay, and the intention of the coach is to basically boost, and that's an interesting word, boost performance. Okay, what is boost? Anybody? What is boost? Jerson, Quinn, come on. What is boost? When I say boost performance. Mm-hmm. Jerson, that's very good. Okay. High five, Jerson. Okay. High five. Yes. To increase. Okay. Yes. That's why I don't know if you guys are I guess you guys are familiar. Are you familiar with this? Do you know this? Mm-hmm. So I assume that yes. Okay. If you the next time you drink this, of course you're not gonna drink it with vodka or some other alcoholic beverage, but the next time you have a can of Red Bull, it says there, it says energy booster. Okay, that's what it says. It's an energy booster. So Red Bull, okay, Red Bull is an energy booster. So basically it is used to increase, okay, to increase energy. Okay, so that is in essence what a coach does. So a coach helps the other person, the coach chi, and that's a funny word, coach chi. The coach helps a coach chi to improve or maximize the person's performance. Okay, so some people, I guess, in this webinar maybe are listening to me with a can of Red Bull, right? So some people are maybe having a Red Bull as I speak in this webinar. Okay, so that's what it is. So that's very good. Okay, so an energy booster. So in this case, to boost performance. Okay, any comments? Nope. Okay, so I guess we can continue then. Let's see who else is here. Okay, we got Jacqueline, Gerson. Okay, no more, huh? Jacqueline and Gerson. So let's see. I haven't heard from Jacqueline. So let's see. Jacqueline, are you there? Okay, let's continue. Let's talk a little bit about coaching at the workplace. Okay. Okay, coaching can happen in different places. And the most common example of coaching is at the workplace. Okay, normally the coaching is done in the workplace, so in an office, in the office, or this could be done also outside the office. But normally the coaching is done in the office, but of course it's done in a separate room. Okay, so normally this coaching process happens in a specific room in the company. Okay, could be done outside the company. Some people like the idea of doing this outside the company. Other people like to do this inside the company because it really helps to be in contact with the organization when you are inside where the action is taking place. Other people like to do this different location because some people consider that if you're in a different location, if you're outside the office, then you can have better conversations, better interaction because the coachee feels very comfortable to speak and to be honest of what is happening when he is outside the office. Because when he is inside the office, he kind of feels a little bit uncomfortable to talk about certain things that sometimes could be a little sensitive to discuss inside the office. But this idea, I guess, it's more of a cultural idea. Because the American people, English speaking people, Americans, Europeans, um, they are pretty honest, and they can just speak honestly wherever. Okay, it's not like us, the Latinos, that we are a little bit more, let's say, not okay. Maybe I don't want to use the word shy, but they're a bit more reserved. We don't like to say too much because we might think that if I say too much, there might be some repercussions that maybe I would lose my job. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of tension because if I say too much, then they're going to consider me maybe as the I don't know if you heard this expression before. They're going to consider me as the rotten apple. And you know what happens if you have a rotten apple. Okay? So coaching at the workplace. This process is done. It's to help the employees to overcome their fears about mastering skills to deliver desired results. Okay, so yes, basically what happens to the employee, this process of coaching basically helps them with certain fears, okay, to deal with certain aspects of certain things that they don't feel very comfortable with. And as a result of that, they need some help in order to be more upfront, okay, more thorough in their shoot, this is I need to close that. Okay, so I don't know why that appears all the time. I guess I have to disconnect that. Okay, let's continue with the other part of this is process of letting employees know that what they do matters to you. So yeah, that's another thing. Employees need to feel to have some sort of approval. Okay, so the employees need to know that whatever they do in the organization is valuable. That we consider that important. Okay, and we need to have a certain sense of approval, a certain sense of recognition. Now, another key word here is recognition. Recognition is very important, okay? The employee needs to be recognized, okay? It's always good to to say, "Hey, you did a good job." It's always good to recognize progress, okay? So the word here is praise, okay? To praise progress. So it's always good to say, you did a good job. Okay, and it's always good that we get this public recognition so that everybody knows that what you are doing is really making an impact in the organization, and everybody needs recognition. Okay, this is a natural thing in human beings. Okay, everybody likes that. Okay, so we like to be recognized. Okay, we like to hear from people, hey, you did a good job. Okay, your contribution to the organization is valuable. So that's what people need. Everybody needs that. Okay. So that's why I gave Jerson a high five, but he didn't return my high five. Okay. So recognition is very important. Okay. So I have to say, hey, you did a good job, high five, and things like that. Okay. The other thing here is working with people, trying to bring out the best in them. Okay. So everybody has something that is good, okay, in them. The idea is that some of these good things are kind of like hidden, okay? Everybody is capable of doing good. Everybody has a specific talent. Everybody has a specific thing that really differentiates uh, myself from another person. So we have this differentiating factor, and everybody has that special talent, but the job of the coach is to extract that talent or try to help the coachee find that talent, find that thing that makes the person excel, that makes the person because there is something. Everybody has something. There is um, there is a shade of light there. So the coach here or the leader here has to basically we say something in English. We say we have to light the fire. That's what we have to do. Light the fire. So everybody has that spark. Okay, everybody has a spark, and what we need to do is we have to help them find that spark, look for that inspiration. So we have to light the fire. Everybody has that the fire, but that fire is it's hidden. Okay, the fire is hidden. Okay, everybody has that. So it's just a matter of lighting the fire. Okay, lighting. So make sure that the fire is it's out and that everybody is energized. And once you find that talent that you have, then your performance improves. Okay, once you find what is your differentiating factor, then you start shining. Okay, and I like that. I like that. Okay, then you start shining. Okay, the idea is the person needs to shine, and the more you shine, the more energy you bring to the team, and then this energy is contagious, and everybody is energized, and we get this nice boost in the organization. Of course, this process of coaching is the coach is not going to tell the person what to do. The coach is really helping the person trying to find to help the person so that he can find his or her own light, energy, talent, unit. Okay? So that's basically the idea of the process of coaching in the workplace. Okay, so any comments? Come on, you guys. I have here, we have Jacqueline. I haven't heard from Jacqueline. Okay. I heard from Jerson, but I haven't heard from Jacqueline. So, Jerson, while let's see what you're typing. Nope. Okay. So, okay. I guess you agree with some of the things I'm saying here, but I want to see your thoughts. I want to see what you have to say. Okay, and I guess Jacqueline is somewhere, but she doesn't want to say anything today. Well, okay. So, um, something that and okay, and something to put on the table is the following. And this is maybe not related to the topic that we're talking today, but I am throwing this idea: silence. Okay, so what do you think about silence? And this is an idea that I'm just throwing there. Okay, let's continue with our business here. Okay, now something very important, something that Galileo, I guess you remember who Galileo was, something that Galileo said, and we're talking about maybe what, maybe more than 500 years or so. No, I guess it's less than that. Well, some time ago, Galileo said the following, and he was kind of ahead of his time. He says, "You cannot teach a man anything. You can only help him to find it within himself." And this is a very powerful quote by Galileo because, yes, the idea of coaching is basically the coach is trying to find in the other person something that is a differentiating factor and something that is better is getting the best out of each particular person. And I guess the clearest example of this is, I guess we can relate this to okay, we can relate this to soccer, you know. uh, if we take this idea of soccer and we take the coach that we have today, Mr. Gareca. If we take the example of Gareca and the national team, okay, what has been happening with the different players? What has been happening to our selection? What has been happening to Cueva? What has been happening to Farfan? What has been happening to what's his name? Yutun, Corso, Advincula, and all these other people, Reed Diaz, and who else? The guy they call him the Orejas, what's the name of this guy? Shoot, I lost it. The guy with the big ears. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. So what? Yeah. So basically, um, the coach, okay, is helping them find their hidden talent. For example, this guy at Vincula, what do we know about this guy? We know that this guy is a very fast guy. So what they're trying to exploit the case of Advincula is his ability to be a fast player. So he runs very quickly, he runs very fast, and he has a lot of energy, and he's able. Um, it's incredible that his talent, as Jerson has said, his talent is has increased, and now he's even capable of scoring. Okay, so could you imagine that some years ago, nobody thought, not even Advincula thought, that he was capable of scoring. Okay, so so this is what really happened. So everybody, all the different players are finding this internal light, this internal energy, and this energy has been driven by the efforts of Coach Gareca that we have at the moment. So, as you can see, Gareca is not teaching them. He's not teaching them something new. What he's trying to, he's talking with the group. He is making them reflect on certain things, and little by little, each person, each player is finding their the true essence. So basically, all the players, little by little, are going to arrive with that particular essence. and you saw what's his name recently. This guy, I forgot the name of the player. I forgot. Is it Carrillo? This guy that recently scored in the Arab region. I forget the name of this guy. He scored recently scored. I think this is his first goal or second goal in this Arabian League. Then we have the other player, Ray Diaz from the MLS, that he is. I think he's now scoring and he's making nice goals. And then we have this other one. What's this other guy? This young guy that he's playing. I think he's playing in Europe or Spain. So each different player is shining. Each different player is has found their true essence. So that's what's happening. So and this has been done with the help and the facilitation of the coach. Okay, so he's not teaching them how to play soccer. They know that people know that the players know how to play soccer. But what he's trying to exploit is he's trying to help them find their true essence. And that's what's happening. And that's why, and you see the results. You see the results around the world that the players are scoring and they're having a good performance in their different clubs. And this also translates into uh, this translate this in success for everybody. It's a win-win situation. So the players are increasing their performance in their leagues and they're also increasing the performance for the national team. So as Gerson is saying, yeah, it's possible to say that yeah, the coach and Greca, the national coach, has basically motivated, has basically uh, energized, okay, energized the team, okay. So yes, and yeah, and each one is he has a the coach has a totally different approach in terms of working with this team that we can say now that we could say that this team gradually is becoming a high performance team. And that's what is the true mission or the true role of the coach in any situation. So I think the best example of a coach and what is really a coach, we can find it in sports. And the clearest example for us right now is that our national team is in a good position and everybody is happy. Okay, despite the results. Okay, maybe I guess maybe the Peruvian citizens don't really understand what's happening, but it's important for the players to understand that each each one has found or is trying to find their true essence, and this is done with the facilitation. And as you said, Gerson, uh, the coach has helped them boost their talent. The coach is motivating their student. Well, here that the students, because yeah, we call they call them the professor, right? So yes, so things are happening. Good things are happening, and it's good that these things are happening for the players. Uh, Results. We are seeing the results. Of course, we want the results to happen faster, but I guess little by little, we're going to be able to find when we're going to be able to see good results. And I think we have a game coming up. I think it's next week, right? We have a game with Ecuador next week. Is that correct? Yes. So we have this game, and we hope that we can have a good result. Yes. So Jacqueline, nice to hear from you. Yes. So high five there. Yes. Yes, I think we have. I think we're playing the first one with Ecuador. Yes, and the next one is with Chile, something like that, or the other way around. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so glad that I guess uh, people are pretty much energized at this point, and it's easy to relate with this thing that is happening to our national team. Okay, just uh, okay. Any other comments? Any other question? Nope. Okay. So I'm glad you're there, Jacqueline. Uh, any comments, Jacqueline? No. Jerson? Nope. No. Okay. Jacqueline, anything else? Nope. Okay. Let's continue then. So another thing I want to talk about is what coaching is. Okay, so coaching is, and you can take note of this, coaching is working with people. Okay, coaching is a way to improve personal performance. Coaching is about influencing. Okay, coaching is offering ideas to bring out the best in people. Okay, so of course, coaching happens with people, it's working with people to improve personal performance, it's about influencing, and it's offering ideas to bring out the best in people. Okay, so yes, so this is what we said to light that fire. Okay, and of course, it's also to some extent it's around influencing. Okay, so yes, um, that's what it is. Okay, so normally we try and we have talked about this before. We always want to get the best out of each member. Okay, now on the next slide we have coaching is not. Okay, coaching is not working on people, it's not controlling people, and it's not telling people what to do. So in this case, okay, this is not like a dictatorship. Okay, we don't tell people what they have to do. We don't control them, and we don't work on people. Okay, so this is basically the difference between what coaching is not and what coaching is. So I'm just gonna go back one slide and show you again. This is working with people, a way to improve personal performance. It's about influencing, it's about offering ideas to bring out the best in people. That's what coaching is. And then the next slide is basically about what coaching is not. So coaching is not working on people, it's not about controlling people, and it's not about telling people what to do. Okay, so these are the main differences about what coaching is and what coaching is not. So ask you let me just ask you a question. So what are your what are your thoughts? Agree, disagree? Okay, okay, okay. So that's all right. Okay, let's move on then. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, and before we go to the next slide, I want to see what Jacqueline is saying. Okay, so while she's typing, let's check the next. slide. Okay. Is it? That's a good one. Okay, it's is okay. Is it correct to say coach someone is similar to encourage someone to get the best out of yourself? Encourage someone to get the best out of yourself. Encourage someone to get the best out of yourself. I guess we will have to change that. The first part is correct. Okay, is to coach someone is similar to encourage someone to get the best out of themselves, not yourself, themselves, because the coaching is the impact is on the other person. So you want to get the best out of that person. So that's what's happening. Okay? Yes. All right. So now that's okay. Now let's see. Just close this. Um, okay, now let's see what are the qualities of a good coach. So the first quality is that he has to be a good communicator. And of course, this is very important. Okay, coaches should be good communicators. And in order to be a good communicator, first you have to be a good listener. Okay, um, first you have to listen. Okay, and this is sometimes very hard to do because normally it's hard to speak with a stranger. Okay, normally it's difficult to speak with somebody that you don't know. So here it requires a little bit of extra work because the coach has to be a good listener and we have to make sure that the person really opens up and is really open and wanting to talk and basically to talk from the heart and have this honest conversations. Of course, this is not going to happen very quickly. This takes some time, but the idea is that um, the, the coachee has to be confident talking to another person, and the coach has to be a good listener. So he has to listen in order to extract as much information as possible. Okay. Here, as you can see here, it says here to put the coachee at ease. So yes, so in order to facilitate this conversation, the coach has to create a comfortable environment so that the coachee feels very confident, very comfortable speaking and telling you what's going on. Okay. The other characteristic, along with communicators, being a good communicators, the coach should be able to question, should be able to challenge, to ask the right questions in order to clarify or to illuminate an issue. So the coach has to ask the right questions in order to trigger, okay, and let's use that new word there, in order to trigger uh, answers, okay, and these answers are basically the input that the answers are the input, and that's what's going to feed the whole conversation. Okay. Yes. Another thing here is the characteristic of reflection. Okay, should be able to reflect. Okay, so the coach has to reflect on what the coachee is saying. So he has to reflect. He has to go very deep in thought and think about all the things he has mentioned in order to summarize and in order to validate all the information that he's receiving. So this is the characteristic of being a good communicator together with some other things as listener, a good listener, a person that can challenge. So he has to make the right questions to get the right answers, and he should be able to reflect on the information that he's receiving, and he needs to have the capacity or capability of summarizing the information accurately in order to uh, produce some inputs that will basically trigger the best to extract the best on each person. Okay, so any comments there? Okay, so let's move on to the next characteristic. Okay, he has to be a people driven, okay, a people person. So in this case, they have they have to be the coach has to be emotionally intelligent. He has to be able to create this trust and rapport, okay, and he has to be good with people, okay. Sometimes they're more like introverts and basically having a because it's a one-to-one situation. Okay, we don't do coaching process is not a massive process. This is personalized. It's on a one-to-one basis. Okay, so he he has not he well basically he doesn't have to be afraid of the emotions. Okay, he has to understand the emotions and he has to be a driver of change. Okay, they help people, they help the coaches to access their own emotions. So emotions must come out of this exercise. Okay, because the emotions are going to be the drivers of all this facilitation process. Okay, if because as I said before, the we have to light that fire, and that fire, in order to get the spark, then we need to go very deep dive, and to be able to extract the best out of each person. So, in order to do that, then emotions must appear, and they must be related to something, and also something more important is the idea of empathy. Okay, there has to be an empathy in this particular process. Okay, the other thing here is also there has to be a good insight. Okay, insight has to do with behavior. Okay, so we need to know exactly what is going on internally. Okay, what is happening, so that the more insight we get into what is really happening, then we're going to be able to have a better picture in order to um, extract the best from each person. Okay, so yes, of course, people can always be a little resistant to this because uh, any new change, of course, is definitely going to affect uh, the person. Okay, normally we're not accustomed to changes, and changes can be scary sometimes. So this is something that the coach has to manage very carefully so that the person, okay, is little by little trying to change some things in order to improve the performance of the person. Okay, of course, this each person reacts differently to change, and this is something that the coach has to consider when he does the exercise of trying to get the best from each person. Okay. Okay. I think I'm receiving a question or comment. So, Jacqueline, while you are writing, I'll move on to the next slide. And I also see that Jerson is writing something. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. No, okay. Okay, so um, the next one then. Another characteristic says not, uh-huh. Um, Actually, yes, yes, Jacqueline, you are right. Yes, this word has to do with a good relationship. Yes, but um, yes, the thing is that uh, it also has to do with creating this nice environment, so that the facilitation process goes smoothly and each one feels comfortable. Because what happens is when we are having these kind of discussions, when okay, eh, the person, okay, when we're having this kind of discussion, the person kind of is a bit resistant at first because we the person doesn't know exactly what is going to happen. So the person kind of creates a defense mechanism that basically um, there is like the person builds a wall around himself so that he doesn't let anything, okay, enter the person's comfort area. Okay, so this case we have to create an environment that is comfortable for both so that we can have this process running more smoothly. So yes, you're right. This word uh, encompasses many things, but it has to do with this good relationship, this good environment. Okay, then it says here not being judgmental, being neutral. Um, so neutral and accepting. So coaches are expected to have a good judgment. Okay, good judgment is having a degree of wisdom and awareness of how things work and to be able to make some sense of the context that is being received. Okay, so in this case, to be judgmental is basically to draw okay conclusions about people, and it's the opposite of under, being understanding or being compassionate. So the coach should always be neutral and impartial. Okay, they understand that good people can get caught up in bad situations. So there has to be the coach has to stay neutral and it has to be impartial all the time. Of course, this is sometimes this is hard to do, but it is a skill and it takes time for them to develop this. But yes, you have to be neutral and totally impartial because otherwise, if you if your thoughts interfere, okay, or if you personalize it too much, then the process is not going to be very effective. Okay, so let's continue that. Okay, so while you are writing there, Jason, then let's move to the next slide. Okay. Another concept here is what they call it the adult mode. Okay, so the coach must understand that rescuing or colluding with their client is essentially in making them look a child. Okay, so the idea is basically to be as an adult and not be patronizing. Okay, the coachee. So in case the coachee will want to feel understood and supported when they're feeling lost or when they feel vulnerable. Okay, and of course, it is appropriate for the coach to offer empathy at this point. So yes, so the idea is to be as adult enough so that the flow is actually uh, easier. Because if we don't keep it like this, then it's gonna be very difficult for the coach to continue the process. Okay. Now the coach must not give advice, and that's another thing. So the coach must not give advice or relieve the coachee from his responsibility of making changes. So in this case, the coach is a facilitator. He helps the coachee has to find his own or her own solutions to the different things that are being discussed in order to boost his or her performance. Okay, so as we said, the coach does not tell the coachee what to do. It is the coachee that tries to find answers to or suggestions into how to increase performance. Okay, so in this case, the idea is the coach will basically is going to be challenging the coachee most of the time so that we can have a smooth um, process, and the coachee will basically find internally try to find the necessary tools or the necessary answers to certain questions. Okay. All right. Um, the next one then. This is an interesting concept. Okay. Here they call it the helicopter view. Okay. So I don't know if you have traveled by. Have you traveled? Have you flown in a helicopter? Okay. Have you flown in a helicopter? Anybody? Uh, the experience is totally different flying flying on a plane. Okay, and believe me, it's totally different. I had the opportunity to fly in a helicopter. Well, I didn't fly the helicopter, but I traveled in a helicopter, and the experience is totally different. Totally different. Okay, so the coaches should be capable of seeing the big picture of the organization and its environment. So this is a concept of, I don't know if you heard this concept of, uh, I think it's 36,000. I think it's called 36,000 feet. Okay, that vision of 36,000 feet. Okay, so that we're able to see the big picture. Okay, the idea is to see the big picture, and so that's why. Okay, the coachee has to be in the position where he can see the whole thing. Okay, is this? I guess you heard maybe the concept of the forest versus tree, right? So in this case, coaches are able to shift their perspective from micro to macro, okay, to see, okay, to get the complete picture, okay, both in and out of the working environment. So there has to be this extrapolation of things, okay, so to be able to see a big picture, not just in something very, very specific, okay. Okay, I guess we are, that was kind of the end of the different characteristics of the coach. And now what I want to do is give you an opportunity to ask some questions or give me some additional thoughts. And while you are thinking about this, the idea around coaching is basically, as we said, it's a process to help improve, okay, performance. Okay, this is an exercise, as we said, that is an exercise that is a one-to-one exercise. Okay, this is not really a group exercise. This is a one-to-one where the coach is helping, is trying to find or increase the best performance from each of the person. Okay, each coachee. Okay, um, this is a process that gradually, okay, is the candidate, the coachee is finding internally what he or she can do in order to improve his or her performance. Now, it's a process that is done, it's like, it's, I would say it's more, the workload is more on the coachee than the coach. The coach, what he does through the questioning process, through the interaction, he's trying to give you some light as to what kind of things you can do in order to improve or boost performance. Okay, so and the other thing I also wanted to say is that I don't know if you've heard about this, but some people say that, okay, in order to be a a coach is there are some people that say that it's a good idea to have a coach that is an expert in a particular field, and some people say that it's not it's not a good idea to have a coach who is an expert in a particular field. So it's better to have a coach who knows very little about the organization. And that's something that I want to put on the table because um, we have these two opinions. One says, and I'm going to repeat this, that one says that the coach needs to be an expert in the field, and then other people say that it's better to have a coach without experience in the field so that we don't get any biases. So um, that's what I want to put on the table for this final moment of the discussion. So, what do you think? Do you think that it's a good idea to have a coach that is an expert in a particular field, or you consider that it's better to have a coach who basically knows nothing or very little about a particular area of business? So that's something that I want to reflect, or something that you should reflect on as you try to understand this process. Okay, so I just want to see very briefly what you guys have to say. So, Jacqueline and Gerson, so let's see what you think. Okay. Um, the actually the process is the difference is the process. Okay. Uh, in coaching, we are talking about this process. It's a whole process where we basically we extract and the candidate basically finds internally he finds some answers as to how he or she can improve their processes. The other one, the mentoring, is more like it's something like it's more like the tutoring process. So it's more like uh, we give them the tools. Okay, we give them the tools so that he or she can become better. So that's kind of the difference. Okay, so in the first one, it's a process, and the person that needs to find all the answers is basically the coachee. And in the other one, we give some tips or some tools so that the person can do his or her work in a better way. Okay, so basically that's like the difference. It's like more of a tutor. It's like a tutoring process. Okay, so mhm, that's good. Happy that it's clear. And I guess I will just have to say, if there are no more comments, I will have to say thank you very much, and I hope to see you the next week for our next topic. So the topic, I think the topic is about interviews. Also, the next topic we're going to talk about interviews and how to have a good interview. Okay, so I would say thank you very much and good night.